We are familiar with all of the changes coming with spring. Starts in just a matter of a few days, and we look forward to that. And so it's easy to see around us. But did you know that we go through seasons as well? Yes, we do. Hi, I'm Coach Maggie with another Soul Food Sunday. And today I want to talk about a verse that's common in Ecclesiastes, and it's 3, verse 1. Very simple. It says, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. And it goes on to say the very familiar verses about a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest or to pluck up, a time to kill, and on and on and on. And we know that. But sometimes we don't really think about how the seasons really affect us. I like to think of it like going on a trip. And there are times when you're going along and you're going fast and life is good, but we know we have to refuel. So usually what we do is we get gas, we might get some drinks, get up and move around, but we constantly are moving toward our goal. And then without fail, I don't know that I've ever been on a road trip where we did not run into road construction, an accident. Sometimes it's just nature. It's a downpour of a storm. So everybody's going really, really slow. There's going to be those delays in life, and we go through seasons. So, how does that look in life for us? I know recently I feel like I've come out of a season. And contrary to nature, where most of us are going through the same seasons, in life, it can be very different. And then there's a different time frame even. I know I went through a long season where I felt like God was pouring into me, but he was peeling back layers. It was a time of a lot of reflection. I was doing a lot of journaling and really figuring myself out, trying to figure where am I going? What are things that I need to let go of? What are things I need to pick up, start doing? There was a lot of those things all internally. And that was that season that I was going through. Now, what I have found is that the quicker we get on board with what God's plan is for us, we can shorten that season. But too often we're looking for shortcuts. Well, if I just do this and I just do that and I skip this, but there's no skipping when He's trying to work in us. If anything, we tend to lengthen the process because we keep coming up against roadblocks. Think of being in a maze. There's an entrance and there's an exit. And a lot of times we're going we keep making the same turns and we're making the same mistakes. God is saying, let me help you. Let me guide you. And so we want to work in the season we're in. And so other seasons can be, maybe it's a season where after you've gone through and after he's worked on you and he's really helped you and given you the things and you're receiving, you're taking in, you're sitting with him, learning more about yourself, learning more about your assignment, your reason for being here. And then the season will be, all right, it's time to move. So that's a season of action, lots of action. We're not going too fast because we can easily get ahead of God and his plan. Then there are seasons where we go, but we're going slow. We're just we're moving, but we're moving at a slower pace. And the wonderful thing is each of our seasons is going to be different. It's unique to us. I can't do anyone else's. And that's another thing we tend to do. We get on the highway of life and we spend a lot of time looking at the car next to us, looking at the person over there, and we're trying to go their journey. There is no comparison in the kingdom. It was never meant to be that way. And so that's the other way that we can really mess up our journey and slow the process down. So begin thinking about what season are you in? Maybe you're in a season of rest. Sometimes after, big events, maybe heartbreak, different things. We need that season. We need a season to spend time to begin to heal because too often we go into one bad situation, we get over it, and then boom, we're into another one because we didn't take the time to really sit with the Lord and find out, okay, what do I need to do different going forward? Just like any kind of big medical procedure, often the doctors are like, you've got to rest. And what do? We think a few days in, we think, I'm good, I'm good. And often we end up relapsing because we pushed too hard. I realize we don't want to be seen as lazy, but we need to know the season that we're in. That's unique for you and me, and then walk in it, trusting God. Because just as this says, there is a time for all of these things, a time to plant, a time to pull up, a time to gather, a time to kill. There's different times in our lives. But if we're not paying attention, then we're going through the motions and we end up with a lot of dead ends. So as we start spring, we're seeing all the amazing signs of spring. I know we say here in the Midwest, yeah, it's sunny outside. Yes, we see the flowers, but you better believe we're probably going to have some frost come out of nowhere. But you know what? As we go into the season, we're watching the news, we're paying attention. We're seeing the tulips and the pretty things start to come up, and people are paying attention. You'll see sheets covering those tender flowers because that one frost could kill them. And so we want to make sure that we stay connected to the Almighty who knows the plan that He has for us. And as we walk out our season, when we do it with Him, we get through faster and we get to the other side victorious as opposed to feeling defeated. So think about it. What season are you in? Maybe it's a season where you're moving. Maybe it's a season where you're learning. Maybe it's a season where you're just coming out of something and you need the rest. You need the rejuvenation. You need to reconnect with the Almighty. So begin to pray and ask God, what is your season? And then ask Him because He will give you all the advice you need to walk through that season. So have an amazing week. And as always, God bless.